So, in this glorious tradition, this Yiddish tradition, I am very emotional to introduce our next Holy Sister. It is clear to me, and I hope it is clear to you, that we heal in the telling and the retelling of our own stories, through the creation of our own Haggadot, through the breaking out and through of our own layers of slavery. We are blessed that our Rebbe, and our sister, Abby Stein, is with us tonight, a soul sister who has inspired me. I'm going to cry beyond words. Abby Stein is a rabbi, educator, author, and activist, raised in a Hasidic family and is a direct descendant of its founder, the Baal Shem Tov. She was ordained in 2011. After leaving the Hasidic community, and that's the whole thing, and coming out as a woman of trans experience. She has given 400 plus speeches. Oh, wait, you're bringing it out. I've got mine too. Ah! It's right here. She has given 400 plus speeches around the world, raising awareness on LGBTQ issues in Judaism, anti-Semitism, media, and more. Her book, Becoming Eve, was published in 2019. And I want you to know, Abby, you need to sign my book if I ever, please God, see you in
Definitely.
person. Please. I must
It's a good excuse. We need to do a picnic or something, physically distant or not.
Yes, just for this, this. Friends, I have to say that since I've become a mother, and that's the greatest gift of my life, really, I don't read enough. I have read your book twice, Abby.
Bless I'm not you. Sure I have read it twice.
You should try. It's really good. Abby, I am so thankful that you're brave. I'm so thankful that you are you. I'm so thankful that you're alive, that I am in the same world as you are. And thank you for being here to share some of your epic story of transformation and liberation and Torah with all of us.
Thank you. I don't even know where to begin. So Magid, we're talking about talking. We're talking about telling stories. First, obviously, already going off track. Neshama, you got to my neshama, you got to my soul. And it has been an honor to get to know you so much. And the more I get to know you, I feel like the less I know, and the more I want to know, and the more time I want to spend. If I may go back for a second and thank Basi as well. It's an honor to get to be with you so much on holidays and on Shabbat and everything, all the other times at Romemu. And it's always really nice to see some Yiddish in other places. So, Neshama, you actually asked me to do something that is impossible. You told me we're going to do Magid. Just tell your story. Well, I literally wrote a book about it, and this is one of at least 3, and I'm only 30 years old. So it's really hard to think of what is the story that I want to tell. But I want to read a small part of, a few paragraphs of the book, and assuming you've read it twice, so you might recognize it. For those who haven't, don't worry, not big spoilers, but just one specific part from my conversation with my dad. Because we were all thinking of we light candles today, and who do we have in mind? And I can't help it. And my parents, who I like to believe they still love me. And I really believe so, but they haven't spoken to me in over 5 years. And it sometimes gets really hard, but then it comes Pesach. And today, my girlfriend encouraged me to start preparing our own grape juice, or what we call must in Yiddish, that I haven't made in years. And I keep doing it, and everything that I'm doing, she's like, how do you know how to do that? Oh, my dad told me how to do that. My mom told me how to do that. And they're just with me, and I'm with them all the time. But this is the conversation that I have with my dad as I'm coming out to him. And for those who know nothing about the Hasidic community, what you need to know is that he never heard the word transgender before. I didn't hear it until I was 20 when I got online for the first time. And here I'm sitting across from my dad, and he doesn't really know what I'm talking about. I want to read 2 paragraphs. Fine, I thought. Tati doesn't believe it's possible. He's going to say that transgender people don't exist. He will brush us off After all, I had heard far less religious people say such things. I couldn't expect Tati to be any different. This time, however, he surprised me. Okay, yes, he said. It is possible that there are people in the world whose souls and bodies are different, and it can be real. But you need a tzaddik, a righteous person who has a Holy Spirit within him to know that for sure. Well, I've seen two therapists and a doctor who both agree with me, I told him. They might not be tzaddikim, holy people, but they know it's true. Then came his clapback. But do you think this is okay with Judaism? He responded. That's as much as I'm going to spoil. Feel free to read the book for the rest. But I've been thinking a lot about his clapback. Do you think this is okay with Judaism? And over the past while, specifically since the book came out, and I've been reading that story a lot, that part I have read many times. And every time I walk into a Jewish space, specifically one where everyone knows the people who invited me, the people who asked me to come in this case, Neshama, you and Bet and everyone else, I'm not hiding it. If you don't know anything about it, just Google me. I'm very open. I have a trans agenda and a queer agenda, and I'm out here pushing it. I'm never stopping. It's not a secret. Yet more and more, we're coming together with people who are not just okay. It's not just that so far no one has thrown virtual rocks at me. It's that people want to do that. We want to create communities where we say that, yes, trans women are our siblings, our sisters. We keep saying that being queer is not just okay with our Judaism, but it's beautiful. I really believe that being a queer Jew makes me a better Jew and a better queer person, not in spite of who I am, but because of who I am. Now, I'm running out of time and I can't tell my whole story, obviously. But I want us to keep that in mind. We say at the end of Magid, B'chol dor v'dor chayav adam lir'ot et atzma ki'ilu hi yatsa miMitzrayim. In every generation, we see ourselves as we are leaving Egypt. Having grown up in a religious community, the story was never about the exodus that did or didn't happen 3,000 years ago. Yeah, that was there. We were supposed to believe that it happened exactly the way it's told in the Torah. But the point was always leaving our own personal Mitzrayim, our own personal narrow space. And if anyone disagrees with that, sorry, but I don't care. I think that in our Egypt, our Mitzrayim is our closets. It's our narrow spaces. It's our narrow places. Our exodus, our Jewish response to Egypt, to the exodus, isn't just this is okay. It's okay for you to be openly queer, LGBTQ, or to be who you are, and we're fine with that. Our response is, this is a holiday. We're going to create an 8-day holiday with a Seder to celebrate you being who you are. Thank you all.
Thank you, Abby. That was, my soul is on fire from what you just shared. Thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful to be here with all of you. I'm so speechless by everything that's been shared already. And the song that I'm going to share with everyone is about struggle and then finding your way home and freedom that comes with that. And I have to take this moment in Magid in telling your story to share that I'm in this really crazy personal moment, this like magical moment for me, which is that I'm pregnant. And I spent, and this is some, and it was my own little secret Mitzrayim, or I don't know, but I spent 7 years rarely ever speaking about this to anyone. I very few people I spoke about this, and it was something that I've been struggling with. And Eric and I, we were trying, and it was very painful. And I know that so many of us have go through something like this, but I was going through it, and I had miscarriages and losses, and getting on stages and miscarrying at the same time, and a lot. And but I came to a place where I was okay with it. I said, God, this isn't meant for me right now. And, and then the pandemic hit and the plague hit. And I had this moment with Eric, and we kind of just looked up at the universe and said, should we try one more time? Can't believe I'm sharing this. And Anyway, so we said, let's just see, maybe if God has a plan, we'll try one more time after all the failures. And so I keep having this image of myself, like standing in front of the Red Sea almost, and like thinking, okay, I'm gonna walk through this, and hopefully it's gonna part. This miracle is gonna happen, but it hasn't happened at all, time and time again. It's just not parting, and I just keep drowning in it. But this time, I started walking in the water slowly, and suddenly the waters started to part, and something was happening, and I started to, I was pregnant, and I'm now, I feel like right now I'm walking in the Red Sea, and the waters are kind of frozen, and it's been every single day for the last 7 months, and I'm one day at a time, like just looking around, waiting for these waters to crash, because I can't believe that this miracle has happened. And I guess I just wanted to say that I believe in that life is miraculous, and that God is with us, and that it's not without struggle that we go through things. And I wanted to dedicate this candle to this little woman's soul in my belly, and to anyone else who was about to give up on anything, because I'm telling, don't give up. So the candle goes out to anyone who's thinking of giving up on something that means something to you. Don't. And I love you, and I'm sorry that took so long, but the song I'm going to share is Wayfaring Stranger and The Narrow Bridge, about freedom in the struggle. I'm a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of woe. There'll be no sickness, toil, or danger in this bright world to which I go. I'm going home to see my mother. I'm going home, no more to roam. I'm just crossing over Jordan. I'm going back. I'm going home. 'Cause I walk this world on the narrow bridge. Kol ha'olam kulo. From the lowlands so low to high up on the ridge, Gesher Tzar Me'od. We all walk this world on the narrow bridge. Kol ha'olam kulo. From the lowlands so low to high up on the ridge, Gesher Tzar Me'od. We're going home to see our sisters. We're going home, no more to roam. We're just crossing over Jordan. We're going back. We're going home.
Yes, by Donnie. I can't even look at you right now. I'm totally just crying. I love you so much. Baby wife. Oh my God. You're so brave. You are so brave. I hope all of you understand these incredible women who open their souls to share tonight. You are, each and every one of you, so unbelievably brave. And I am just, I have no words. So to go from my Donnie to introducing my BFF, Daphne Lazar Price, this is like too much for me. I need a moment alone. Daphne.
Hi.
Daphne Lazar Price. I love you, is the executive director of the Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance, also known as JOFA. She has spent over 20 years in Jewish communal life in senior professional and lay leadership roles. And that does not begin to describe how Daphne kind of runs the world. So if anyone wants to know, it's Daph. Daphne is a true bridge builder. She engages in deep and meaningful multi-faith conversations and connects people from all walks of life to each other. I know this firsthand. She lives in Maryland with her spouse, David, and 2 children, and they are one gorgeous multiracial family. And hopefully next Seder, we'll talk more about that. I have known my Daphne since we were children in our Orthodox girls yeshiva in Toronto, and that is a whole other Zoom. And please God, together with our sister Nicole Navarez, who's also here, we are going to have a podcast to discuss all of these things, so stay tuned. Daphne is one of the people who reminds me to smile when these days feel too long. I miss you like crazy, and you are my family. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, all of us, and inspire us tonight.
I am overwhelmed. First of all, Mama Dani, Bisha'a Tova, amazing news, and thank you for being a constant source and wealth of inspiration to all of us. And to so many friends who I see in the Zoom, old friends and new friends and people who have been my teachers, Liz. It is so wonderful to be here. And Neshama, I miss you. Thank you to all of my sisters for making space for me at this very holy table, especially Neshama and Beth for creating this nurturing and spiritual space where we can all learn from one another and strengthen each other. I am guided by the light each of you bring to the table. Just a quick word. For those of you not familiar with JOFA, since 1997, it's been an organization that has been advocating for expanding women's rights and opportunities within the framework of Jewish law to build a vibrant and equitable Orthodox community. We're not an outreach organization in the traditional sense, but thanks to JOFA, more people are able to comfortably call Orthodoxy their spiritual home. And if you want to know more about my work, you can find me. I'm Googleable. A little bit more about Magid. At the Seder, we read out loud, "Bechol dor vador chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu yatsa miMitzrayim." In every generation, every person must see themselves as though they too were part of the exodus from Egypt. And yet, if you look at standard Passover Haggadot, women's voices and experiences are missing almost entirely, which is ironic because women were integral as part of the Israelites' redemption. Our Talmud tells us, as the reward for righteous women, Bishar Nashim Tzidkaniot, who lived in that generation, the Jewish people were redeemed from Egypt. And who were these women? They are the ones we read about in the book of Exodus. They are the midwives, Shifran, who defy Pharaoh by ignoring his decree and letting all the Israelite babies live. They are Yocheved, the mother of Moses, who hides his birth until she can conceal his presence no longer and then hides him in the reeds of the Nile. They are Batya, Pharaoh's daughter, who rescues Moses from the Nile and who adopts him as her own and raises him in the palace. They are Tzipporah, Moses' wife, who accompanies him at every treacherous step of the way. And finally, there is Miriam, who from the time she is a young child until her death demonstrates unprecedented strength and leadership, defying authority and leading with joy. These are the wondrous women of the Exodus. So when we seat ourselves at the Passover table and when we envision ourselves as though we are part of the Exodus, we should most importantly see ourselves represented among the fierce and righteous women who made it all possible. May we make room for them at all of our Seder tables, and may we all continue to tell their stories and to raise their voices using our own voices. May we find ways to emulate their strengths, and may we all always be wondrous women. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Daphne. And what a nice segue into the next song I'd like to share with you, which is about Miriam and was the first song I wrote for Miriam's Table. When she was just a girl, she was dancing by the sea. born a slave into the world, yet she changed our destiny. She is our inspiration, and her faith lives in our mother's eyes. And through every generation, we can hear her prophesy. Ya-na-na, na-na, ya-na-na, na-na. Miriam, you could sing along. Ya-na-na, na-na, ya-na-na, na-na. Miriam. It was she who had the vision. It was she who told her mother, lay my brother in the Nile. He will lead us all to freedom. So they laid the baby down to save our lives. We must give thanks and honor in the name of Pharaoh's daughter. Lift your cup and drink your wine. They were true believers, wise and wondrous leaders, and we're here to testify. Ya-na-na, na-na, ya-na-na, na-na. Miriam. Ya-na-na, na-na, ya-na-na, na-na. Miriam. So tonight, sisters around the world, hold your head up high, raise a timbrel as a symbol. She is waiting for you at Miriam's table. So tonight, sisters around the world, hold your head up high, raise a timbrel as a symbol. She is waiting for you at Miriam's table.
In 1993, Mayan, the Jewish Feminist Project, was established at the JCC on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Actually, it wasn't called Mayan. We didn't have a name yet, and we never used the word feminist because in 92 that was unacceptable. The JCC, that many of you know, was just one big office on 80th Street. And the first thing we wanted to do was have a feminist Seder. We needed somebody to do data entry for us, and a young woman was suggested, Tamara Cohen. Tamara, we were told, had just graduated from Barnard and was home writing her first great novel. Tamara came in and she said sure she would do it, and she began her employ at Mayan. That first Seder was done by a committee. It was successful, but it wasn't what we wanted the Seder to be. By year 2, we had hired Debbie Friedman to come and do a Seder from California, and Tamara, with just a couple of other people, wrote the Haggadah. That year, we actually had 2 Seders. After the first Seder, the next day, Tamara and Debbie spent the entire day writing music. That night, we had a Seder, and at least one of the new songs was part of that Seder. We continued revamping that Seder and making it better and better. We couldn't have done any of that without Tamara. She clearly knew much more about Jewish stuff than we did. And she knew more about a lot of things than we did. The Seder became a huge event. By the time we stopped doing them, we were having 4 prior to Pesach, and we had 500 women at each one. Somebody suggested we do it at Madison Square Garden. That didn't happen. That'll be if we do it again. And we got that Haggadah and some sort of feminist Seder just all over the Jewish world. We have Tamara to thank for that, and she deserves this honor immensely.
I know so many people for whom Tamara brought them back or brought them in to feminist Torah, to feminist liturgy, to social justice-minded Jewish life. I am so blessed. She's my big sister. She was my personal Torah teacher from the earliest age, whether it was warning me against the dangers of anti-feminist toys or teaching me my first Torah for my bat mitzvah. She is my teacher and my inspiration, and she is that for so many of us.
Tamara, I've known you for a very long time. Though we've not spent much time together over those years, I count you as one of the most special and dear people in my life. So it is with great joy that I've been given this opportunity to be with you tonight. Tonight is a celebration of and for women and the legacies left behind by so many. Those legacies that have made our lives better than they might otherwise have been. Those women paved the way for us, and we stand on their shoulders every day. And we celebrate all the women here who are creating their own legacies. Tomorrow, we celebrate you tonight for all that you are, your heart and your soul. You have made profound contributions for us all as Jewish women. You are the embodiment of all that this word stands for. You are a visionary, you are an inspiration, and you are a source of empowerment. And it must not be left unsaid that more than at all, you are a mom and a wife. I know that Debbie would be sitting in the virtual front row tonight, smiling and celebrating you. I love you, Tamara.
Okay, wow, that was a beautiful surprise of a video. Thank you, dear Barbara. You made this all happen. At my my sister and teacher, Ayelet, Beth and Cheryl. I feel immense gratitude for every single one of you here tonight, for the beautiful makers of music, the beautiful tellers of Torah and personal truth. And it's easy when in the presence of so many incredible women to feel like, why me? So I'm gonna try out feeling like all of us. Why all of us? Because we are so blessed to have one another. And I light my candle also to remember Debbie, because having this award in her memory is so meaningful on so many levels. And she continues to be an inspiration in my life. I just want to share a few words about the Mayan Seder and how we thought about it then, and how perhaps we can feel proud of the way it was a seed, one of the seeds for so much of what we're experiencing tonight, and so much of what is behind and part of all of those who are presenting tonight. Over the course of the years, starting in 1994, we did bring together thousands of Jewish women and their allies. And something was happening for me at that time too, which is that when Barbara and Eve and Debbie and Sue brought me into Mayan, they also brought me right back in to the center of Jewish innovation and life that was my birthright, but that had been almost taken away from me by a Jewish community in the early 90s that wasn't ready to accept that queer folks could be Jewish leaders. And so for me, working on the Mayan Haggadah and standing there at the Mayan Seders was a healing. It was a coming through my own places of narrowness. And it's been such a privilege to be able to continue that process for so many others and to see how that has unfolded over time. And still, I must admit that we at Mayan would sit around and say, is this really Dayenu? Is this really enough? Can doing this kind of art and cultural ritual change really be the Seder that we seek, the Seder that God seeks? Is it enough to talk and sing? And so we did more and more. We added tzedakah boxes to our tables. We added information about Jewish women's history, and we added information about organizations, but still we kind of questioned it. And I must admit that sometimes still, like in the last 48 hours, when there's so much pain and violence and wrong with the world, I still can sometimes question, what are we doing coming together to sing? And you remind me tonight, as I was reminded for all those years, that we need this. We need ritual. We need holiness. We need one another. We need cultural and ritual change. We need to imagine God not just the way that God was taught to us, but through so much creative and also feminine language. We need that in order to find the strength and the power to go back out and make change, to change power, to continue to protest and fight and sit with those who are in mourning and in grief, and to make change. And so, as we said then, I want to say today, if we create art, music, dance, and literature, Dayenu, if we realize our power to affect change, if we bring holiness into our lives, homes, and communities, if we honor our visions more than our fears, Dayenu, below Dayenu, it will and it will not be enough. Thank you so much for seeing me, for seeing one another. And thank you for also, if you are so moved, supporting me in seeing and supporting new generations of Miriams as they come, as they continue to arrive. I am blessed to do that work through the Kol Kolenu Fellowship and through the work of Moving Traditions. May we all be blessed to continue to do that work of supporting one another and re-envisioning the past and therefore making way for the future. Thank you. Dayenu below Dayenu.
Amen, amen. I'm so emotional. Thank you for being here to receive this award, and please feel the spirit hugs that we are just piling on you. Thank you for your holy work. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for not giving up. Bless you, and I hope to know you one day. I just have to say that from afar. I am so proud of you. Thank you, and Mazel Tov. Our next song will be performed by Joni Leeds and Chava Morel, two incredible artists and mamas and sisters that I love and respect so deeply. And I am especially excited to be able in this moment to publicly hug and Joni from here. Our girl won a Grammy Award for her record. All the ladies this week. I feel like everyone should unmute and scream, but probably a little bit cacophonous, but I'm screaming from here. And Joni, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You are awesome, and you are holy, and you are representing. And give us one small word about and Chava's here. Chava. Oh my God, I miss you so much. I just can't. Give us, please, because obviously we all have so much to say to each other, give us a brief word about the song that we're about to experience right now about glass ceilings.
Well, Neshama, thank you so much. And I just wanted to say before I start that I lit my candle, my very fancy candle, for my daughter who is 5 years old. And when she was born, I read an article from The Guardian, and it was called 4 Reasons Not to Tell Your Daughter She's Pretty. And it really it left an impact on me. And I felt, after I read the article, like young girls are always told, you're so cute, you're so pretty, and everything is focused on the way that we look on the outside, but not who we are on the inside. And the way that little boys and little girls are treated are just so differently. So I wrote this song, Glass Ceilings, and I was so honored to have Chava Morel sing it on the album, and I sung her background vocals. So we did this video tonight to share with you, and you can find the song, there's a video also on YouTube, and you can find the song on the album, All the Ladies, and it looks like this. That's the album. So check it out. It's all for young girls and all genders. And, it's about empowering females and glass ceilings. So without further ado, Chava, if you want to say anything. No? All right. We'll sing Glass Ceilings. And thanks, EJ, so much for signing.
From the moment you're born, little girl, you will hear, you're so pretty, you're so precious, aren't you a darling? From the moment you're born, little girl, made to think, a prince will come save me, forever be happy, just like the movies. I know you don't need a knight shining armor. It's true that you might need to work harder to prove that you are just as strong, and you can get along without glass slippers. Breaking glass ceilings, glass ceilings, glass ceilings. Breaking glass ceilings, glass ceilings, glass ceilings. From the moment you're born, little girl, you should be told, you're so clever, you're so inventive, aren't you expressive? From the moment you're born, little girl, you should be told, I love what you're up to, I know you can do it, you are a brave one. I know you don't need a knight shining armor. It's true that you might need to work harder to prove that you are just as strong, and you can get along without glass slippers. Breaking glass ceilings, glass ceilings, glass ceilings. Breaking glass ceilings, glass ceilings, glass ceilings. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or what you look like. Show them the power and belief you feel on the inside. It will break glass ceilings. Breaking glass ceilings. Ooh.
Yes, thank you so much, beautiful ladies. It is an honor to introduce our next guest. And thank you, all of you who are staying. This is a very meaningful night, so thank you for sticking it out. We have a lot to say, clearly. Nicole Nevarez knows that when we take time to reflect, we have the power to create deep systemic change, and it is essential. As the inaugural director of Ta'amod, Stand Up, Nicole brings expertise, wisdom, and passion from a diverse background of work in the Jewish communal realm. Ta'amod is the go-to address in the Jewish communal landscape for issues and resources pertaining to organizational culture and harassment prevention and response. Memorize that. Catalyzed by the Me Too movement, Ta'amod has positioned its work from a proactive rather than a reactive stance. Ta'amod is much more than a mission-critical organization. It's developing a movement, a cultural shift in the DNA of our Jewish communal world. Ta'amod is invested in asking, how do we cultivate Jewish communal cultures that are aligned with our values? Hope you're all paying attention. It's about how we demonstrate Jewish values through the daily function of our communal organizations. It's how we treat each other with kavod habriot, respect and dignity of all beings, ensuring an organizational environment that is not only compliant and psychologically safe, but one that exudes the ideals in which our values and mission-based organizations are derived. On a more personal level, Nicole, my love, I want to thank you for guiding me in my struggles. And I am thankful that you are here as a guardian and a portal to all of us, because we need you more than we can express. And ladies, any of you out there, please call on Ta'amod. I encourage you all to learn more about Nicole, about Ta'amod, and always remember that our sister community is here for you. We are here for each other, and that's how it should be. Nicole, you are a holy warrior. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Neshama. I'm surrounded in this Zoom space with holy warriors, and it is my absolute honor to be here. How honored I feel is that's its own Zoom session. So thank you so much for blessing me with your friendship, with your trust, and asking me to come and share just a moment tonight, and so wisely putting me next to the great and amazing Joni Leeds and the idea of glass ceilings, because Ta'amod was very much founded, yes, catalyzed by the Me Too movement, but also very much in response to our challenges in equity in the Jewish communal space. And we in contemporary Judaism, for the most part, we gather in community, be it through the way, look at all the ways we found to do that this year in our virtual spaces. And so while we have Judaism and practice and ritual and connection in our homes, so much of where we find Jewish space is in community, and therefore should not those communities be the most nourishing, holy, safe spaces that they can be? And we know that they're often not. So I want to just tell you a bit about Talmud and a little bit of a little moment of Torah, perhaps, and just again, with the deepest gratitude to be here tonight. I want to extend my specific gratitude to Neshama and Beth for having me be here, and all of the great humans in feminist leadership that can be in these sacred spaces, and for welcoming me into your covenant tonight. So you heard a little bit already from Neshama about Talmud, founded in work begun by the Jewish Women's Foundation of New York. We're a 2-year-old initiative, and our focus is on healing the wounds of toxic organizational culture that's resulted in harassment, bullying, lack of pipeline to leadership, inequities, and harm done to individuals in the Jewish community as a whole, because we gather in communal spaces. I just want to share some words on Nisan, the month that we're in, the month of Nisan, in which we celebrate Pesach. And these were penned by myself and our communications manager, Amet Ezel, to whom I will give great kavod and credit. Nisan is a season of paradox. When we celebrate freedom from enslavement in Egypt, we're reminded that Egypt is Mitzrayim, which the mystics understand to mean the narrowness and the constriction of oppression. This year, we continue to cry out, naming the systemic conditions under which we suffer, patriarchy, racism, and myriad inequities, and all of this in the midst of a raging present-day plague. Yet, the very first Passover Seder happens when the Jewish people are still in Egypt, slaves with an uncertain future. In other words, the rituals of freedom begin in the middle of oppression. The Jewish people leave Egypt, Mitzrayim, in a rush. They break out in communal song, crossing through the sea, and then it takes 40 years and counting for the people to wander through the wilderness and become free. And so freedom can happen in an instant, and at the same time, the deepest freedom from the bondage of systemic pain takes profound time. Either way, song and wandering in the wilderness are intimately connected, and the paradox of narrowness and liberation live alongside one another. And that paradox is familiar to us at Ta'amod. We know that the work of getting free, of building equitable, psychologically safe and accountable communities is both challenging and so deeply full of potential. In the month of Nisan, Pesach reminds us that the long haul work of change, even in its grit, can be full of song. And in fact, it is the moment of song, Rav Tamara, it is the moment of song that gives us the energy to persevere. Ta'amod is committed to equipping Jewish communities and institutions with the tools that they need to be their most expansive, accountable, and song-filled. And after 2 years of development and growth, we're at a major inflection point as the demand for our work grows rapidly. And in the coming months, we'll be forming a new organization, seeking an advisory council, launching new holistic curriculum, and building capacity. And we need, like all of us need in these spaces together, a coalition of visionaries, of leaders, and yes, critically, funders, because it is parnasa, it is the livelihood, it is ein kemach, ein Torah, that we need the capacity to build the healing. We need you all to pave the way with us. So I was supposed to be putting my information in the chat, but I can't multitask, so I'll do it after. I want to just say that this happened very last minute. I'm on my knees with gratitude to Neshama for asking me to be here. And I did not know that Rabbi Tamara Cohen would be honored. And I just, since we're all here crying together, need to say from my deepest heart that she is a great mentor of mine, and they're deep pieces of who I am today in my professional capacity to do this work that are directly related to my years of working with her. I'm sure I'm not the only one who has those particular tears on this, in this space tonight. So from my heart and my very tiny team that is growing at Ta'amod, we want to say that as we continue to navigate the paradox of narrowness and liberation, may we be strengthened in the work of weaving accountability and equity together. And may we continue to find song as joyous as that which we celebrate here tonight. Chag Sameach.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much for those words. That was beautiful. I'm really interested in your organization and everything you said. And it's such a good segue because I'm lighting these candles tonight for my Nana Naima, who is from Baghdad, Iraq, who came here as she watched her whole life fall apart and her children leave and her husband and everyone just being persecuted around her for being Jewish. And I loved singing Arabic music with her. And this song that I'm going to sing is not Arabic. It's a song by Nina Simone. And she was a person who said being free means not living in fear. And I'm just so grateful that my grandmother, Naima, did finally get to not live in fear. So this is a song called I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. I'd say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. Oh, I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. Oh, I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish we could all do all the things that we know we should do. And though we are way overdue, soon we'll all be starting anew, yeah. Now I wish I could be like a bird up in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found out I could fly. Oh, I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea, and then I'd sing because I know. Yeah, I'd sing because I know. Oh, I sing because I know how it feels to be free. How it feels to be free. Now everyone out there sing with me these words in Hebrew. Lehiot chofshi. It rhymes with to be free. Lehiot chofshi. Sing it with me now. Lehiot chofshi. What it means to be free. Lehiot chofshi. To be free, yeah. Lehiot chofshi. Thank you.
Leot Chofshi. Yeah. Lizzie Swan.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. How incredible. Thank you so much to all of you for such an extraordinary night. My name is Perry Smilo, and I'm really honored to be with all of you tonight. And tonight I lit my candle for the women in my innermost circle, my mother, Turby, my sisters, Jill and Marnie, and perhaps most importantly, my daughter, Allie, soon to turn 18 and launch into a world that needs redemption. May she learn and grow from all of you. You give me hope for the next generation. And now, in our journey tonight together, as we exit Egypt together, we're reminded that if we are truly to find our way to freedom, we are required to confront the pharaohs. We have to confront the pharaohs in our lives and in the world and demand that they not only let us go, but that they let everyone go. This traditional song of our Passover Seder can be reclaimed as an anthem for us, the women, for our sisterhood, as we demand that all be released from their bondage. When Israel was in Egypt land, sing it with me from home. Let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, sisters, way down in Egypt land. Tell those old pharaohs to let all people go. The pillar of cloud will clear the way. Let all people go. A fire by night and a shade by day. Let all people go. Go down, sisters. Go down, sisters. Way down in Egypt's land. Tell those old pharaohs to let all people go. As we all stand by the waterside, let all people go. At God's command, it will divide. Oh yeah, let all
shore. Let all people go. We'll let the song of triumph soar. I say, let all people go. Go down, sisters, way down in Egypt land. Tell old pharaohs to let our people go. So as we all from bondage flee, let all people go. May we pray, may all the earth be free. Let all people go. Come on, sisters, go down, sisters, way down in Egypt land. Tell all those old pharaohs to let our sisters go. One more time, go down, sisters, way down in Egypt land. Tell all those pharaohs to let my sisters go. Chag Sameach, everyone.